Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. They went weird. It's darker. It's weirder. It's a little bit crazier. This is technically a prequel.
Kinda.
No, not kind of my ass. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Just because of the year. Well, yeah.
Well, if one takes place in 1935, the other one in 1936, what do you mean? But now we get to Kalima.
Papachango, Simon.
Papachango.
Kalima taktire.
Welcome to List. This is a show we're plucking our name out of our all-time watch list, watching and view for viewing pleasure. The movie we are scratching off the list today is a 1984 Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Long-ass titles, man.
Not that long.
In 1935, Indiana Jones is tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a rock stolen from them by a secret cult beneath the catacombs of an ancient palace.
This was, I think, is one of my favorites, Indiana Jones.
Word!
Indiana Jones. I think it was the first Indy that I watched.
Okay, that's why.
It's kind of cool.
It's a weird one. They took risks for this one. They went weird. It's darker. It's weirder. It's a little bit crazier than the first one. Because it even starts weird.
Starts with a vision.
No, it starts off with a musical.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really weird. And it just reminded me of the I Want to Be Ninja lady.
I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. I want to chop, 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 chow down. Take chow down to Chinatown.
So it's super weird. So I couldn't stop thinking about that lady. It was super random. It was super weird, to be honest. But the whole movie is kind of like that. It's a weird, different turn for the Indy franchise. This is technically a prequel.
Kind of.
No, not kind of my ass. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Just because of the year. Well, yeah.
Well, if one takes place in 1935, the other one in 1936, what do you mean? And there's no reference to Marion before that.
No.
But this serves as a prequel. So this time around, he's 100% on his Bond.
In the beginning, yeah.
He's literally sporting the same look that Sean Connery did in Goldfinger with the white tux and the red flower. Then my guy Wuhan shows up. Probably shouldn't say his name for YouTube purposes.
I know that.
Because he says in the movie, how'd you meet him or whatever? And he's like, we've been doing things for years, right?
Yeah.
He first appears in the Xbox PlayStation 2 generation game Indiana Jones and the Emperor of the Tomb, which I reviewed for my channel that I'll leave for you over here. Shameless plug. And he's just a guy that's pulling a rickshaw. The mission is he's pulling you along the rickshaw and you're in the back of it shooting out of it. And he's running, pulling the rickshaw. The name of the nightclub that the whole scene takes place in is called Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah, notice that one. Yeah.
And as they're running away, you find Short Round, right? Short Round is driving. Short Round serves as like the kid watching it.
Yeah.
Like you were a kid watching it. That's how you would feel. That's how you would be. And what's crazy is that this movie was actually rated PG. And it created a lot of buzz because there's a lot of non-PG scenes in it.
Yeah.
It's very dark with child slaves and whipping the kids and ripping hearts out of guys.
Yeah.
So this movie, along with actually Gremlins, which him and I have done for the list, I'll shamelessly plug around here somewhere. Those were the movies that made Spielberg actually push and create the PG-13 genre because it's kind of for kids, but there's also messed up stuff in it.
Yeah.
Jaws as well as PG. So it started from back then where Spielberg is trying to do what he wants, not caring what the rating is, but trying to fit it in a PG setting because of tickets and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what led them to create the PG-13 rating. If this is the prequel, douche, which we've established.
You established because of the year, yeah?
No, I established because that's what it is. That's what they say. Don't say just because you don't know them is not a fact. Where the Indy? In a Short Round. In the one.
Or is that in the movie, yeah?
Why?
We don't know.
Well, in film lore, Short Round just disappears, right? But in some other Indiana Jones material, Short Round actually lives on. He's cool. He's chilling. He's a character that shows up in an issue of the Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, which is actually a Marvel comic series. And it was printed throughout the 1980s. So he grows up, he becomes an archaeologist, and he goes down and he does his own adventures.
Oh, okay.
But originally, Indy's sidekick was supposed to be a princess.
Princess?
You see where we're talking about George Lucas can be awesome, but sometimes he can be a little goofy.
Yeah, well, he was probably making Star Wars too, so there's a princess there, so I don't know.
Right. Also, ideas for the sequel. Spielberg wanted Marion and her father to be in the second movie. Remember in the first one when they're in the bar and they talk about their past or whatever?
Yeah.
They went a different route by getting him another Mia.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie, who's the I want to be ninja lady. Who's actually played by Spielberg's real life future wife.
Oh, yeah?
That's his wife.
Yeah, he's kind of Mija, yeah.
She's cool. Yeah. I did praise Marion and Karen Allen for how much I enjoy that character.
Uh-huh.
Willie is the complete opposite and different and is not a great character. She's completely different from Marion. She really doesn't want to get her hands dirty. She's very high maintenance, dainty. She's complaining the whole time. And that was like the main problem with a lot of the critics with this movie, and they agree as well. And even that whole will they bone or won't they bone, that whole part was weird too. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It was that was kind of double O.
Mm-hmm.
So remember when they're in the plane and the plane's going down, they jump out of the plane and they get on a raft?
Yes.
That was supposed to be in the first film. That's how Indy was supposed to meet with Marion. He was supposed to do that and then slide all the way down to her cabin. There's a lot of like leftover things, like the Donkey Kong Country minecart level.
Uh-huh.
That was supposed to happen in the first one with Indy and Marion.
Okay. But where are they going to put that in the first one? I mean, there's no mine. I mean, here they were digging, they were mining. I mean, it makes sense in this one.
It didn't fit,
No.
so it carried over.
Yeah.
And it was recycled over here.
Okay.
Because in the first one, it was cut due to timing and budget. In the last video, we talked about Ford's injuries, how he was sick in the iconic scene.
Yeah.
And here he actually had a terrible herniated disc, which is kind of one of the main reasons why they're riding elephants all the way up there. Because it was very painful for Ford just to even stand, and they even had a hospital bed on site.
Yeah.
It got so bad that they just sent him back to LA to recuperate for a whole month. And during that month, they were doing a lot of the stunt double scenes.
Oh,
and then he eventually did fully recover and was able to finish the movie.
Okay. He looks more bufferoni in this one.
You think he buffed?
Yeah. So in the first one, yeah. You can tell with the arms.
Speaking of actors that reminded me of things, the Maharaja kid looked like the New York kid that's like, say less.
Oh, say less.
So every time he was up there, I kept thinking about this stupid punk ass little kid that was distracting.
Fat ass too, respectfully.
And then when they meet up Dawson.
They meet Dawson at the palace.
No, not the OG.
Not the real Dawson?
No.
You're saying that the other guy should have played Dawson?
Yeah.
Yes, he looked
They
exactly.
meet that one. That's when they tell him about the stones. They have to recuperate the stones.
Yeah. And then you met the real Dawson who actually plays Dawson in the Van Damme movie, which I've also done for the list. We do get the nasty ass dinner, eating snakes and scarabs and eye soup. We can't forget the monkey brains.
Yeah.
I want a monkey head prop. They look cool.
Yeah.
I bet you they sell those.
Yeah.
I bet you did they ever sell those cups like they did with the Looney Tunes? You remember the Looney Tune cups?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they have those kind of monkey brain cups.
Probably, yeah.
But the monkey brains for the actors was just actually custard with raspberry sauce.
Well, whatever you can tell, right?
But
right
you buy
now.
it because the props are so great.
Yeah.
What was also nasty were the bugs that Kate Upshaw had to have on her. She actually was covered with over 2,000 bugs, and she actually had to take sedatives to get through that scene because she had a kind of weird fear about the bugs. But now we get to Kalima.
Papachango, Simon.
Papachango.
Kalima taktire.
He rips my guy's heart out, and my compa's still alive
Yes, because he was cursed.
because magic.
Yes.
And he gets sent down to hell.
Yeah.
Dude, this movie's weird, man.
Come on.
It's not bad. It's different and weird.
Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah. There's magic. There's.
Because the Kalima guy, Mola Ram, right? He's the bad guy. He just appears. There's no explanation of that there is a cult or nothing. It's just like,
Yeah, because
that's him. Ta-da.
They discovered it. They're seeing the ritual.
Right. But usually when you see him moving, you see somebody. Nowadays, you already know who that is. It was just a new guy. You know, I thought that the way the pace of the movie was going, I thought that the real Dawson was going to be the Kalima guy. But no, it was just another guy who was the head of this cult, you know, Mullah Ram. He was just doing whatever. But there's no explanation of who he is or whatever all the way up to that. He just appears.
Yeah.
And it takes you a minute to figure out who, what, why, when, you know, like up until the end of the movie where everything gets sorted out. During that time in the movie, there's a scene that got deleted where Short Round sees a guard catch on fire, and then he sees that he wakes up from the spell.
Okay.
And that's how Short Round knows that the fire takes the spell off, which I felt was desperately needed, because how the hell does he know about fire? He just walks up and is like, I'll save you, and burns him, and it wears off. So in the end product, you're like, how does he know that fire? Why would he do that? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I did like when they were both fighting, and you can see Short Round in the background doing the same thing as Indy punching the kid in the face. I didn't like
After
that.
he rescued him, yeah.
Did you know that the guy that Indy is fighting that eventually gets steamrolled and you can see the thing of blood, which that shouldn't be for kids, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
That's the same guy that he fights in the plane.
Oh, yeah?
It's the same guy.
Okay.
Then we get to the Donkey Kong Country kart scene. That whole sequence is long as hell. When they're saving the kids, it's like a good 25 minutes, and it's just action. And then they get to the kart scene, and the kart, and then they get to the water, and then they get to the bridge, and it's like
the bridge scene is a very iconic scene too. I like very much that scene.
I don't know if it's iconic just because you like it.
I mean, it's a bridge scene.
There is a callback, which shouldn't be a callback because this is a prequel to the gun versus the sword, because he gets two guys and he reaches for his gun, and he's like, so that's a callback to a movie, to something that hasn't happened yet. So it's a bit weird.
He beats him, and then he goes right after.
Then he
goes
turns
there's more guys.
Lucas wanted the movie to start off with a motorcycle chase along the Great Wall of China, eventually leading to them finding a lost world of dinosaurs. That was denied. And another idea that he had was they had Indy exploring a haunted mansion in Scotland, which is dope. I would like a spooky Indiana Jones going through a haunted mansion, fighting ghosts. But Spielberg had just done Poltergeist, so he didn't want to dip back again to that genre.
Well, that was Indy fighting ghosts, man. I mean, he likes finding lost things, you know.
Right. Well, you can make something up that's something that's haunted. It's the same.
Yeah.
The original title for this one was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Death. But even since they already felt that was too much death. It's too dark. So they changed it over to Doom. A lot of the darkness comes from Lucas because he was going through a divorce at the time of the project. And you can kind of see a lot of that spill over. You say this is your favorite indie movie. Spielberg disagrees. He didn't even like it that much because it was too much of a radical change, which I kind of agree. But it's not bad by any means. I wouldn't want it not to exist like some other indie movies.
You like it?
Even with that being all weird and a little bit goofy, I did like it because the second indie did take huge chances and really weird risks. But it didn't affect my overall thoughts of the movie because I just took it as another adventure, right? Yeah. From this very legendary, awesome, cool adventurer guy, right? This one is like bigger and badder than Raiders is. But ultimately, I don't think it's better. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is like the greatest adventure movie of all time. And the reason why I feel that, the answer of that is right over here. Be sure to go watch our past episode on Raiders. And I also link the whole catalog of the list. We'll drop it for you right there. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like and consider subscribing. Thank you guys for watching. And remember to always and forever, you do you.
Karima, taktire. No hablamos del Cibalinga, güey.